My name is Lieutenant Jack Harrison. The year is 2064. On Earth, all life has disappeared, wiped out by a relentless bacteria that has spared neither humans nor animals nor even plants. The planet we once called home is now nothing more than a vast desert, barren and silent. We, the last survivors of humanity, now live in an isolated base on a distant planet, and aboard a space station orbiting what is left of Earth. There, in the vast emptiness, we grow our own vegetables and fruits, the last vestiges of a nature we have lost. Every day we struggle to survive. Every day we wonder if what we have lost can one day be found again. But deep in our hearts, one question burns brighter than all others. What will we find if we return to Earth? In 2024, Earth was still full of life. Yet, the signs of its fragility were already there. World wars had broken out, fueled by the lust for power and the fight for increasingly scarce natural resources. Oil, once the engine of progress, had run out, precipitating the collapse of the world's economies. Then, the ultimate catastrophe struck. A bacteria, previously unknown, emerged from the depths of a laboratory where desperate scientists were seeking to create a new source of biological energy. But they created a monster. This bacteria spread rapidly, devouring everything in its path. Billions of human beings died in a matter of months. Animals, plants, all the ecosystems that maintained the balance of the planet were swept away. The contamination spread relentlessly, turning cities into silent tombs and forests into fields of desolation. The oceans themselves were not spared, their once life-rich waters becoming toxic and barren. In less than 2 years, Earth, that blue jewel, had become a dead planet. Virus experts, scientists from all over the world were in a frantic race to understand the origin of this devastating bacteria. Their laboratories, once dedicated to the fight against classic pandemics, were quickly transformed into veritable fortresses of science, where the most advanced research was conducted day and night. They analyzed every soil sample, every drop of water, every trace of contaminated air, hoping to discover the source of this invisible threat. Teams were sent to the 4 corners of the globe, to the most remote and hostile regions, to track down this scourge at its roots. Theories multiplied. Some believed that the bacteria was the result of a natural mutation caused by the extreme environmental conditions due to global warming.
is CNN Breaking News.
Good evening, everyone. The entire planet is in shock at the rapid spread of this mysterious bacteria, responsible for millions of deaths across the globe. Scientists and doctors, despite their best efforts, are unable to determine the exact origin of this scourge. Two main hypotheses are currently being studied. The first suggests that this bacteria could come from another planet, potentially introduced to Earth by a cosmic event or space exploration. The second hypothesis, just as worrying, considers the possibility that this bacteria was manufactured here, on Earth, by scientists. If this is true, it would mean that it was released accidentally or, worse, intentionally. The uncertainty surrounding this health crisis only increases global anxiety, as research teams continue to struggle to find answers and, hopefully, a cure. We will keep you updated in the coming hours.
Look, I know we've tried everything, but this bacteria is more insidious than anything we've ever seen. It mutates at an incredible rate, rendering our cures obsolete almost as soon as we develop them. We're losing dozens of lives every day, and I fear we're running out of time. The samples show that the infection is taking root deep inside, attacking the body in ways we don't fully understand. If we don't solve this mystery soon, I fear we could be witnessing the extinction of our own species.
Our labs are stretched to the limit, and teams are exhausted, but the urgency is growing. If we don't find a solution soon, we may have to accept the unthinkable, that this bacteria could spell the end of our civilization as we know it.
Maya, I understand your despair, but we can't give up now. We still have avenues to explore, and every minute counts. I know the situation seems hopeless, but we must continue to search, to test, to innovate. If we give up, then there really is no hope. I refuse to believe that this is the end. We must fight until our last breath to find this cure, to save what is left of humanity.
You're right, Sam. We can't give up now. Even if everything seems lost, we have to keep fighting for those who still count on us. Every life we can save counts, and while we have a little time left, we have to use it to try to make a difference. I'm with you. We'll keep searching, together.
Look, I know we're all exhausted, but we're the last line of defense. Every single person in this room has the skills and determination to make a difference. This is a critical situation. I'm not going to lie to you. This bacteria is pushing us to our limits, but it's precisely in times like these that we need to rise to the occasion. We need to share our findings, test every hypothesis, and not let fear paralyze us. Together, we still have a chance to turn this situation around.
Look, guys, I know this seems overwhelming, but we can't afford to give up now. We've all seen the havoc this bacteria can wreak, and every second we waste could cost lives. We need to redouble our efforts, cross-reference our research, and explore every avenue, no matter how unlikely. We can't let despair take over, not while we still have a chance of finding a solution.
The news is not good, I have to be honest with you. The bacteria continues to spread, and our latest treatment attempts have failed. Samples are showing even more aggressive mutations, and our room for maneuver is shrinking. Each report I receive is more alarming than the last. We must prepare for difficult decisions, because time is no longer on our side. We have a vast supply of drugs. None of our current treatments work against this bacteria. We try, we test, but nothing seems to stop it. It is frustrating and terrifying at the same time, to have all this equipment, and yet to be unable to find the right cure. Time is running out, and we are losing this battle.
I'm going to try this new treatment protocol. An antimicrobial peptide has been identified in the latest analyses, which could potentially inhibit the protein synthesis of the bacteria. If we can administer this peptide via a controlled release intravenous infusion, combined with a gyrase inhibitor, we could disrupt its DNA replication. It's an experimental approach, but at this point, it's one of our last options. Doctor, I understand the urgency, but we must also be careful with this new protocol. The administration of the antimicrobial peptide and the gyrase inhibitor could have significant side effects. We must prepare rescue doses and monitor patients closely for any adverse reactions. I assure you that the team is ready to intervene quickly to adjust the treatment if necessary. Patient safety remains our priority, even in these critical moments. Patients respond to treatment in varying ways. Some show signs of a positive response, with symptoms decreasing and their condition stabilizing. However, others experience significant side effects, such as nausea, high fever, and allergic reactions. We have observed a few cases of complications, such as severe gastrointestinal upset and electrolyte imbalances. We monitor each patient closely and adjust doses accordingly to try to minimize side effects while maximizing treatment effectiveness. Please take care of the 2 patients in room 458.
I will need to contact the gene therapy scientists to get their input on this new technique. We need their expertise to refine the protocol and ensure we are following best practices. I will also coordinate with the research teams to incorporate their advice and adjust our approach accordingly. Every minute counts, so I will call them immediately to expedite the process.
Prepare me injections of viral vectors containing the targeted inhibitor gene. We will administer these injections using a gradual release protocol to minimize side effects. Make sure the samples are properly sterilized and the doses are adjusted according to the patient's weight and condition. We must be ready to administer the treatment as soon as we receive the green light from the research teams. It is crucial that each step is followed with the utmost precision. The latest news is that the situation continues to deteriorate. The bacteria has developed new mutations that appear to be resistant to the treatments we have tested so far. Our most recent samples show increased resistance, making our task even more difficult. We must intensify our research efforts and adapt our strategies accordingly. I will request an emergency meeting with scientists to discuss this new data and readjust our approach. Time is of the essence, and every step counts.
The coming days will be critical in our fight against this bacteria. With recent mutations complicating our treatments, we must prepare for an intensification of efforts. We will have to work tirelessly to test new therapies and adjust our protocols in real time. It is crucial that each member of the team remains vigilant and adaptable. We are facing an unprecedented challenge, but our determination and collaboration will be our greatest asset.
New York City and the world continues to be ravaged by this devastating bacteria. Once bustling streets are now deserted, filled with chaos and desolation. Already overwhelmed global health systems struggle to contain the outbreak as cases increase exponentially. Efforts to contain the spread seem increasingly futile, leaving cities in ruins and communities in despair. This global crisis has left humanity in a desperate struggle for survival as the bacteria continues its destructive rampage.
Faced with the imminent threat of total human extinction caused by the deadly bacteria, the American government, in collaboration with the world's greatest powers, made a drastic decision. Realizing that Earth would soon be uninhabitable, leaders implemented an emergency plan to preserve the survival of the human species. In a leaden silence, far from public view, titanic preparations were launched to send 100 people to a distant planet, recently discovered and deemed suitable for human life. This planet, named Nova Terra, was humanity's best chance to continue to exist. The selection criteria were rigorous. Candidates had to be in excellent health, possess vital skills for survival and reconstruction, and represent a diverse cross-section of the human population. Scientists, engineers, doctors, as well as specialists in agriculture and biotechnology were among the first colonists. These men and women would be responsible for laying the foundations of a new human civilization far from Earth. The project, kept secret until the last minute to avoid global panic, aimed to establish a self-sufficient colony. The colonists would be equipped with the most advanced technologies to grow food, produce energy, and build shelters, all while battling the unfamiliar conditions of their new planet. Survival pods, seed banks, and even frozen human embryos were part of the cargo, ensuring the genetic diversity needed for long-term survival. This departure into the unknown was more than just an exile. It carried with it the faint hope that humanity might one day return to its home planet. The scientists took with them samples of the bacteria, hoping to develop a cure far from Earth's deadly conditions. Their mission was not just survival, they were also to find a solution to purge Earth of this threat, so that when the time came, humanity could return and rebuild what had been lost. As the final preparations were completed, the day of the great departure arrived. The last 100 hopes of humanity boarded the shuttles, leaving behind a dying planet. Their journey to Nova Terra was more than a quest for survival. It was a final act of faith in the future of the human race.
What you out there? Yes, clear. Loud, clear. On the Endicott. G7? Yes, ma'am, we'll be clear, and 233 will be clear on N4. E. Edward, and so we both do 50.
In 2043, Earth was a distant memory of what it had once been. 3/4 of humanity had been struck down by a devastating virus, leaving behind ruined cities, deserted streets, and a decimated population. Those who had survived were hiding in these ghost towns, but survival was only an illusion. A mysterious illness had taken hold of them, an illness that even the most brilliant specialists could not understand or cure. In the big cities, where life had once been bubbling, groups of survivors had formed. They had taken refuge underground, in the bowels of the metropolises, where they tried to protect themselves from the dangers that lurked on the surface. The basements, once reserved for sewers and subways, were now their only refuge, a last bastion against the chaos outside. But their time was running out. The doctors among them had made grim calculations. They had only a few weeks, maybe a month, before the disease would take them all. Above them, the cities were hunting grounds for nightmarish creatures. They were no longer humans, but zombies, once human beings transformed into monsters by the bacteria that attacked the brain. This bacteria, more insidious than death itself, devoured consciousness, distorted the mind, until the victims were nothing more than empty shells, driven only by insatiable hunger and blind violence. In an attempt to contain this threat, militias had been organized. These armed groups, made up of seasoned survivors, patrolled the ruined streets, protecting the few pockets of human life still present. They secured the entrances to underground refuges, repelled hordes of zombies, tried desperately to maintain some semblance of order in this world gone mad. But they knew, as did those they protected, that their struggle was futile. With each passing day, their numbers dwindled, swept away by evil or devoured by the creatures they fought. Cities were nothing more than death traps, where hope was increasingly rare. Daylight, once a symbol of life, was nothing more than a cruel reminder of reality. The earth now belonged to the dead, and the time of the living was coming to an end.
Be careful whenever there is a door. They can be there. We were ordered to shoot them on sight.
Yes. I tell them about it.
On the planet Nova Terra, work is both tiring and risky. Every day, we face extreme and unpredictable conditions, testing our endurance. Frequent storms and sudden climate changes complicate the management of crops and infrastructure, making every task uncertain. Equipment, although sophisticated, is often tested by the harsh environment. Fatigue accumulates, and the stress of living on an alien world weighs heavily on us. Despite everything, we must remain vigilant and resilient, because every success, no matter how small, is crucial to our survival. Our determination to build a future on this planet, while hoping to return to Earth, drives us to continue, even when the challenges seem insurmountable.
The conditions of the voyage are delicate, and every detail must be perfectly coordinated. We must navigate carefully through space debris and radiation zones. The success of this delivery is vital to maintain our autonomy and prepare for our uncertain future. The next few weeks will be decisive in ensuring our survival and our hope of one day reclaiming our home planet. Did you get a message from the station this morning?
Xenia, are you receiving us?
Nothing to report. Everything is fine for me at the moment.
On the English jet 40.
Rendezvous at 3212, over.
Bravo Fox Pop leveling 16,000. 337 for Bravo Fox Pop up.
Okay, 3000 left turn 110 direct direction, maybe at 986.
Left 270, Air Canada 204.
How satisfying it was to see our crops thrive despite the harsh conditions of Nova Terra. Every plant that grew, every fruit that ripened, represented a triumph over adversity. It was more than just an agricultural achievement. It was a symbol of hope, proof that even in the midst of chaos, life could still find a way to survive.
We had finally found the technique to grow fruits and vegetables on this hostile planet. It was not an easy task. It took months of research, experimentation, and constant adjustments. We had to adapt the soils, create airtight greenhouses to protect the crops from the extreme conditions, and develop sophisticated irrigation systems to manage water, a precious resource here.
Each small victory, whether it was a ripe tomato or a lettuce sprout, represented more than just an agricultural achievement. It was proof that despite Nova Terra's unforgiving environment, life could flourish. These harvests became our source of survival, but also a symbol of hope and resilience. They reminded us that even far from Earth, we could recreate some semblance of normalcy and continue to build a future on this planet.
On Nova Terra, life is so different from what Mom told me on Earth. Every day I get more used to this place, even if the storms still scare me. I spend a lot of time in the greenhouses helping to grow the plants. It's where I feel closest to our old home. Sometimes I look up at the sky and imagine what it would be like to see Earth again one day. I am happy to participate in the development of agriculture on Nova Terra. Helping plants grow here in a place so different from Earth makes me feel important. Each little sprout that grows gives me hope for our future. Even if life is difficult, knowing that I am contributing to feeding everyone makes me proud.
Every now and then we received news from Earth, broken messages that traveled through space with agonizing slowness. The news was terrifying. The unknown bacteria continued to wreak havoc, devouring everything in its path. The report spoke of entire cities falling silent, of continents emptied of all life. Scientists, once the hope of humanity, were now helpless, unable to stop this relentless threat. Earth, once our home, was becoming a distant, nightmarish memory.
As a woman, my duty was to ensure that every aspect of our survival on Nova Terra was meticulously managed. I controlled the farming systems, oversaw the health and well-being of the inhabitants, and coordinated efforts to keep our community in balance. In addition to these responsibilities, I ensured that everyone, regardless of their role, felt supported and involved in our collective mission.
I was the leader on Nova Terra, and my duty was to monitor living conditions and assist the inhabitants in their daily lives. I ensured that our crops thrived, monitored vital infrastructure, and provided constant support to the members of our community. Every day I coordinated efforts to optimize the farming and survival systems while managing the crises that arose in this unforgiving environment.
On Nova Terra, I often feel lonely, even though we're all together here. The days are long and there's no real room to play like on Earth. I help Dad grow the plants. It makes me feel useful. But sometimes I just wish I could see a real tree or feel the grass under my feet.
Radio communication with Earth was becoming increasingly rare, signals becoming garbled as the planet collapsed under the destructive bacteria. Every transmission now was marked by agonizing silences and fragmented messages, echoes of a dying world. The survivors on Nova Terra listened to these final desperate pleas, feeling the connection to their former home fading. They knew there was nothing left there but ashes.
I am very sad that I had to leave our dear Earth. My friends were left behind sick from the bacteria, and they could not come with us. It breaks my heart to think of them, alone in a world that has become so dangerous. Even though I do my best here, I do not forget what we have lost and those we miss.
Very important to contact the North Station to see if they still have water.
We must guard the seeds carefully, for we do not know how long we will be here. Each seed is a promise of food and survival for the future. By protecting and cultivating them carefully, we hope to ensure a constant supply and create an environment where we can thrive. Every day, we must be careful to ensure that these resources are preserved, for they are essential to our future on Nova Terra.
I would love to have a cat or a dog here, but with the bacteria on Earth, it was impossible to take one with us. I miss them a lot, because they were my faithful companions and brought so much comfort. Sometimes I dream of having them again, but for now I am content to keep memories and hope that one day, maybe, we will be able to find some of the warmth of their presence again. My sister and I have fun as much as we can, even if it is difficult to leave the base. The conditions outside are very dangerous because of the sudden changes in weather. We spend a lot of time inventing games and stories to forget the monotony and the dangers. It is our way of keeping our spirits up and staying close despite the circumstances.
Eventually, we start to enjoy our new life here, even if it's not what we expected. We learn to appreciate the small victories and moments of tranquility, despite the daily challenges. This is our reality now, and we have no choice but to adapt until we can, one day, return to Earth. We do our best to build new hope and find comfort in what Nova Terra has to offer.
On the Jimmy West Jet 40.
Rendezvous at 3212, over.
Plus pop leveling 16,000. 337 for Bravo Fox pop up.
Okay, 3000 left turn, 110 direct direction,
Left 070, candidate to 04.
Team, prepare for docking. We are approaching the Xenia space station, navigation systems are online, and we are in proper alignment. Reduce speed to 10% for a smooth approach. Ensure all attachment systems are operational and on standby. Docking must go smoothly. We have critical supplies on board. Stay focused. We cannot afford any mistakes at this point.
We are now 100 meters from the station. Check tank pressures and stabilizers one last time. We must avoid any deviation. Sensors show micro debris approaching. Activate deflector shields and maintain course. Prepare to activate the docking clamps as soon as we are in range. We are entering the final phase.
Speed reduced to 5%. We're almost there. Stabilize the trajectory and prepare the tie-down clamps for automatic connection. We're entering the safety zone. The whole team must remain alert. No rush. We must ensure a smooth approach. The slightest mistake could compromise the tie-down.
Our priority once docking is complete is to deliver supplies. We need to transfer food and water to Xenia Station as quickly as possible. The station's supplies are running low, and these resources are vital to the crew. Once we have secured docking, everyone gets into position to begin the transfer. Make sure the offloading systems are ready and the connections are stable. There is no room for error. Every minute counts.
Challenger, can you read me for docking? Be vigilant. We have spotted meteorites near our position. Their trajectory is stable for now, but we must remain on our guard. Keep communication open and prepare for possible evasive maneuvers. We cannot afford to take any risks at this point. Let us ensure that the docking is carried out safely.
This is our last mission before we go home, and I want everything to go smoothly. We've been through so much to get here. This delivery is crucial to the crew of Xenia, and we can't fail. Keep in mind that lives depend on us. Once this mission is complete, we can finally think about going home, if Earth is still here to welcome us. So let's stay focused until the end. We finish what we started.
Life for the 200 people who permanently reside on Xenia is far from easy. They live in extreme conditions, in a confined space with limited resources. Their daily lives are punctuated by rigorous maintenance tasks and strict work schedules to ensure the station runs smoothly. Recreation and social interaction are reduced, which can create intense psychological pressure. Their survival depends on our ability to provide food and essential supplies on a regular basis.
Docking successful, team. We have established a secure connection with Xenia Station. Repeat, docking is now confirmed. You may begin the transfer of supplies. Ensure that each container of food and water is properly sealed and safely transferred. The station must receive these crucial resources as quickly as possible. We will now proceed to check the systems to ensure that everything is in order before unloading.
Xenia Station relies 100% on us for the survival of its 200 residents. Every resource we deliver is essential to their daily lives and well-being. Without our support, they cannot maintain their operational levels or ensure their own survival in these extreme conditions. This is a huge responsibility that we carry, and it is crucial that everything is perfectly coordinated. Every step of this mission is vital to ensure that these people can continue their work and live safely.
Let's make sure everything goes smoothly, because their lives depend on it.
Fuel is becoming increasingly scarce, and this poses a major challenge to our travels. We absolutely must find a solution to optimize our consumption and extend our range. It is imperative that we explore alternatives, such as more efficient propulsion technologies or energy recovery methods. Without proper management of our fuel reserves, we risk compromising our future missions and long-term survival. We must mobilize all our resources to solve this problem and ensure that we can continue. We currently have 4 space shuttles, but with our fuel supply rapidly dwindling, we will soon have to reduce the number of shuttles in operation. Before long, we will be able to use only 1. We must develop an effective management plan to optimize the use of this remaining shuttle. This involves strategically coordinating missions, minimizing non-essential travel, and maximizing fuel efficiency.
I am humbled by the support of my colleagues. They are proud of the way the mission was managed and the successful delivery. It is gratifying to see that our hard work and cooperation have paid off. We have all contributed to ensuring the survival of those who depend on us, and this success strengthens our team spirit. Thank you all for your commitment and professionalism. It is together that we make a difference. On Nova Terra and aboard Xenia, the relationship between men and women is crucial to our survival. Cooperation and mutual respect are essential to creating a harmonious and efficient work environment. Each individual, regardless of gender, brings unique skills that are vital to running our community and operations. On Nova Terra, where conditions are particularly harsh, support and understanding between colleagues strengthens resilience and group cohesion. On board Xenia, close collaboration is also essential to managing limited resources and maintaining the stability of the station. We must continue to foster a climate of respect and equality, because it is by working together that we will overcome challenges and ensure our survival in these extreme environments.
After 10 long years in space, between Xenia Station and Nova Terra, humanity's survival depended on constant effort and unwavering cooperation. Resources were scarce, conditions were extreme, but we had held on. However, the question remained on everyone's mind: was Earth, our true home, habitable again? Scouts were sent to explore what remained of our home planet, ravaged by the bacteria that had once exterminated all forms of life. Their mission was to see if nature had begun to reclaim its rights, if the soil was fertile again, and if the air was finally breathable. They were our last hope to know if it was possible to return, to start over and rebuild what had been lost. Humanity waited in uncertainty, but also with a glimmer of hope. What if, after all this time, Earth was ready to welcome us back?